So my guess is that if you clicked on this video and you're gonna watch this video with me, that you're probably the weird one in your family who does the weird things that are more sustainable or eco-friendly. You try to be a little more kinder to the planet, and people give you like the side eye, or they make snide little comments about the things that you do in your home or when you go to other people's homes.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
I've been hosting girls' craft night every week, and some things have come up that people think are weird or they're just not used to, which really frustrates me because a couple of my friends that go for craft night graduated with the same degree as me, and I'm like, you should be doing anything at home too. What are you doing? But the point of me telling you all this or saying all that is that this video is going to be about things that I do that are weird, that I don't think are weird, but I would like to either normalize the things that I'm doing or denormalize the more wasteful versions of them because they're wasteful in terms of the environment. But a lot of these are also wasteful in terms of your money. Like, you're literally throwing things away when there are perfectly good reusable options for them. And I kind of want to approach these topics that have come up recently with my friends and family and talk about them from a perspective of like, this shouldn't be weird. This should be the norm. Let me know if you think any of these things are weird, or if you do any of them, and or if your friends and family think you're weird for doing these things, or if there are other things that your friends and family think you're weird for. So first of all, I have not bought paper towels since I moved out of my parents' house. Like, I would venture to say that I have never bought paper towels to like sit on the counter and use and throw away, like use for 2 seconds, throw them away. I've never done that, but it strikes me really a lot. Like, that's one of the things, if someone comes into my house, they're going to notice because it's so normal for other people to do that. For there to be just a roll of disposable towels on the counter for people to grab them mindlessly and throw them away. And from my understanding, the reason that paper towels were invented is because back in the day, I can't remember what business it is. It's like a very well-known business. I want to say it was Scott. They were making toilet paper and they had a run that was too long, so then they had to figure out a way to market this toilet paper that is too long, and the paper towel was born. But prior to that, people used reusable towels. That's just like what normal life was about. And people come into my house, like literally everyone else in my life is like,
where are your paper towels? Do you have paper towels?
I just find it so interesting that that is so normalized that my friends and family find it weird that I don't have paper towels sitting out on top of my counter. Whereas I find it weird that they do, that they continuously spend money to throw it away. The connection is so weird to me. But the second thing is no plastic baggies. And I also don't have a lot of like to-go plastic container things. Actually, I don't have any. All my containers are my nice reusable glass ones. I don't have a lot of plastic ones because I just feel like they get scratchy, microplastics, all the issues that come around with that. So whenever we make food for girls' night, I often have leftovers that I want to send home with people, but I never have to-go things to put it in. The girls have started to realize they need to bring their own to-go containers when they want to take leftovers, which just makes sense. But it's definitely been an issue recently with wanting to send food home with people and then being like, you don't have anything disposable that I can take home. It's like, yeah, sorry, that's, you know whose house you're coming to. Okay, the third thing that many people in my life think is weird is drinking from the tap. I cannot tell you how many times in the last few months I have had a conversation about drinking from my tap. Whether it's filtered or not, just the amount of times people have like expressed to me that they don't do that or that they think it's weird really throws me off. And I'm like, so you're buying water in plastic bottles and that makes more sense to you. I get asked all the time, how do I convince friends and family to do X, Y, and Z? And I've done the whole like shaming thing, obviously. I've done the whole, I'm gonna give you data thing, that sort of stuff. But I just decided with my friend who's drinking out of single-use plastic bottles for her normal water source that I would just get her a filter and also a water bottle. Okay, we're just gonna get the friends on the right track, and then I don't have to personally worry about it. How cute! I really do love this bottle. So this is Lark's newer reusable bottle, and the reason that I really like it is it has a 2-step process for making sure your water is pristine, okay? It uses UV technology and it also uses a nano filter. So anybody who is drinking out of single-use plastic water bottles because they're worried about all those sort of things, this right here, Here's your solution. So at the touch of a button, which is what this guy is up here, the UV technology activates and eliminates up to 99.99% of biocontaminants such as E. coli and salmonella. So the UV technology is step one, and then the filter, this little guy right here, can take out any chemical contaminants such as PFAS and chlorine, and this filter can filter about 40 gallons of water, which should last you around 2 months and replace up to 300 single-use plastic bottles. It has a self-cleaning feature, so you never have to worry about the hygiene of your bottle. It also has an app that can help you track the status of your filter and your water consumption to make sure you're meeting your hydration goals, which is a big deal for me. If it is for you too, this is a great option. It's insulated so it can keep your drinks cold up to 24 hours. They ship with carbon neutral shipping, their packaging is recyclable, and every purchase helps support clean water facilities in Kenya and also helps clean up ocean-bound plastic. And speaking of, for us Texas girls, because it's hot, the opening is wide enough to put ice cubes in. We love to see it. So I'm gonna leave a link for this at the top of the description. This color is also really cute. It's not weird to drink water from the tap, but you can be even more sanctified if you use a nice little water bottle with a filter like this. Okay, number 4 is my yard. And I'm never gonna get tired of talking about my yard and how weird people think it is. Largely because I am like really attached and frustrated after I did all my research for my video. I'll link it up here, my video about lawns and their problematic history. It really bothers me that people don't like think through decisions they make or beliefs that they have. And if you're so attached to this idea of a lawn, and most likely you don't know about the history of it, but then you're like pushing that onto someone else, like it just really bothers me. Something about my personality, that type of thing, really bothers me. And when people suggest that my yard is weird or they don't like it, I've gotten comments on my videos about the transformation, about how it looks a mess and those sort of things. But like, that's kind of the point. The yard is not for aesthetics. Like, nature is not meant to be for aesthetics and looking pretty. Like, nature, which is what we took when we took our yards from the ecosystem, is meant to function as an ecosystem, and it's not always pretty and nice and neat and aesthetic. And so that's definitely something I've been doing that people think is weird, and I think it's more weird to have an opinion and a stereotype and a stigma without really looking to where that came from and why you think that way. So I won't stop talking about my yard because, again, I'm like very emotionally attached to it, but I will say that is definitely a thing that people think is weird that I do. I just don't really care if you think it's weird. I think what you are doing is weird, okay? Number 5 is my bidet. And listen, everyone who comes into this house that hasn't tried a bidet and they see it, they do think it's weird, like really super weird. Even the people that I turned on to bidets have come into my house, sometimes for years at a time, thinking it's weird. And then the first time they try it, life has changed. And it's amazing to think how many people are out there without a bidet just living their lives like that, and they don't know how much better their life could be with a bidet. I try not to use inflammatory language when I talk about things that I love that genuinely changed my life. There aren't many things in my life that I say that to, but I am a bidet evangelist. I'm a buy nothing group evangelist. I think those are the only 2 things that I'm like, I need you to have one if you don't already have one. And when someone comes over to my house the first time and I have to be like, they're like, what is that thing attached to your toilet? That's so weird. And I'm like, okay, but try it. But did you try it? Because your life will change. Okay, number 6, in general, composting. Lots of people don't have access to composting, and I'm not here to be any type of way about that. Like, people, it's out of a lot of people's control, and a lot of people are not like gardeners and they don't want to make their own compost in their backyard. They should, because it's so important to tackle the issue of food waste and landfills. It's like a huge environmental issue. More people should, but also more services should be provided so that people can use it, just like any other waste service: recycling, landfill, compost. That's the solution. But I put this in here mainly because people think it's weird that my compost is in my freezer. Like, when people are like, what do I do with this? I know you compost, so like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, freezer. Put it in the freezer. It's just a thing that we do that makes a lot more sense for our home because we live in Texas, and room temperature in Texas, I recently found out, is like my AC is currently set to what I understand to be the heat wave of London a few weeks ago. And so leaving food out on my counter, I'm not really trying to do all that. So putting it in the freezer, people definitely think that's weird when I tell them, but after I explain it, they get it. But It's definitely a weird thing first time I walk into my home. Number 7 is I don't shop for fun. When I changed this about my life, it was really hard for a lot of people in my life, especially my family, because I grew up in what I would definitely call an overconsumption household, a hyper-consumer household. At this point, I feel like I've communicated enough to them why I'm doing it, that it's even started to seep into their minds that they shouldn't be doing it, so I feel good about that. But yeah, I don't shop for fun, and for a lot of people in my life, that is weird. Okay, also for number 8, there are several things I actually just don't do that other people perceive as fun, and people get weirded out and annoyed at me that I don't want to do those things. One of those things is fireworks. Like, some people in my family, it's been years now, me being like, I hate them. I don't want anything to do with them. And especially now because of my relationship with the birds in my yard, like, it's just so much more tangible now how awful fireworks are for things that live outside. And then there's all the other parts of it that are like, you're literally just littering. You're putting contaminants into the air, into our soil, our runoff. Like, it's just, the issues with fireworks are never ending. The concept of watching your money blow up in the air is also not for me. It's also things like balloon decorations. Like, my little cousin had a party recently and for graduation, and my cousin asked me to help her with decorations, and she was like, oh, I'm thinking a balloon arch, and I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking not a balloon arch. Like, yeah, there's just certain things like going fishing. Sometimes my family, Madison's family really, will want us to go fishing with them, and I'm like, no, and then they think I'm the weirdo or I'm just a standoff person. I know that was more than like one thing, but I just put it under a category of like activities that I won't participate in that people think are weird. So like the yard thing we talked about, the whole purpose of like building a native wildlife habitat is to attract bugs, because, well, really our soil and fungi, don't get me started, as my little naturalist recent grad self, I will tell you the whole story of how an ecosystem works. And so I want bugs in my yard. So because of that, I will never kill a bug. I have no interest in, no matter what the bug, well, maybe a mosquito. Okay, maybe we'll kill a mosquito if I'm being honest. But other than a mosquito, if I'm outside, if I'm inside, I'm not killing bugs. Point blank period, I don't do it. If I find a bug in my house, I also am not gonna be like, oh my God, I need to spray, I need to hire an exterminator. Unless I have like an infestation, I'm not just gonna go around killing bugs. And people in my life definitely think that's weird. Like, a wasp got into my house the other day and I was freaking, I was having a panic attack, and still I was like, oh, we have to put him outside, but we have to put him back outside.
Oh, woo, okay, woo, good God. Oh, I got a good cry. I'm gonna have tears in my eyes. It's huge. Oh my, look how huge that thing is. Is that normal?
Lots of people think it's weird that I don't wear tampons. Lots of people think it's weird that I don't use disposable period products, period, and that I've never worn a tampon. People find that to be very, very strange. But I use reusable period underwear. I own a brand that makes reusable period underwear called K&S. If you haven't heard of it, I'll leave it linked in the description. I also have a period routine up here if you want to go learn more about it. But my friends and family, they definitely think it's really weird that I don't use tampons. It's a conversation that I think needs to happen more often, because the amount of waste throughout a menstruating human's like menstruating part of their life is a lot of waste. Like, there's just so much waste involved, and it's a conversation that we should have, because we are using non-renewable resources in a lot of ways to make those things, and it's incredibly wasteful, and it's just a system that is not sustainable in like literal terms. Also, did you know the average pad contains so much plastic that it is equivalent to 4 plastic bags? The average pad equal to 4 plastic bags. That is mind-blowingly insane. What do we have? Number 11. My friends and family think it's, not my friends so much, but my family is really struggling with the fact that I set intentions. And this one is, I don't have to talk about too long because it's not really related to sustainability, but I am very intentional with my intentions for the year. Every year at the beginning of the year, I set intentions for myself for things I do and don't want to do that year. And it just kind of keeps my life on track and has really helped me accomplish things the way I want in my life. And they're really struggling with this year, me not wanting to travel. Oh, we're going to the beach, we're going to this, and I'm like, you guys, Why are you struggling so much with the fact that I am not traveling this year? Oh my god, also the fact that we ride our bikes for utility and not just for fun or like exercise. My family is really weirded out and struggling with that because they've always lived in places that are not walkable, bikeable, those sort of things. But I've talked about this on this channel a lot, that the reason we bought this house, like the big selling point for this house for us was its walk score, was its bike score. It's very important to us to not have to rely on our car because we are a one car household and we purchase e-bikes as like our second form of transportation. You can live in a place where biking as like a utility, as a form of transportation is possible. But that's been an interesting perspective to watch them have. Okay, number 13 is never using disposables for events. I have hosted several events with my family at this point, and my friends, and they all like are really surprised that we don't, like, I use the ball aluminum cups and I reuse them when we have parties. I have regular like plates and stuff if I'm hosting a dinner party for our wedding, obviously. If I throw a shower or a party for someone else, I've thrown several parties for my family over the last few years, and nothing is plastic, styrofoam, disposable. Sometimes we'll use compostable things here and there, but they always find it so weird that I'm willing to like go out of my way to make sure that I'm not creating waste, because for them it's as simple as like going to Walmart and picking up the red Solo cups and the styrofoam plates and the plastic utensils and the balloon arch and just doing the party. I think they've come to expect it from me, but it's still like a weird adjustment for them. Okay, well, I'm hoping and I'm looking forward to reading the comments and you telling me I'm not that weird, because you also do these things and your family also thinks you're weird. And hopefully together, me and you, one step at a time, doing all of these things, we'll normalize them and they won't be the weird things anymore. Feeling the more wasteful thing will be the weird thing someday in our lifetime as we slowly work together to shift that culture, okay? That's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Also, go get you one of these, or for one of your friends. If any of your friends are like super anti not using single-use plastic bottles, this bottle I think is gonna be the best one for them, because like I said, it has that double technology filter and UV system. It's going to be the best option for people like that in your life. Shout out to Lark for sponsoring this video. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.